Hey guys, I hope you are doing well. Happy New Year, happy 2023. It is our first video for the year, so I feel like whenever we put this out, even if it's in Feb, I have to wish you guys a happy new year. I hope you are safe, I hope your family, loved ones are safe, and I wish you all the best for 2023, professionally and especially personally. Now this video, I want to share with you guys how I have managed to enter into 2023 slowly, sort of get into or ease into my goal setting for the new year. And I'm actually still going through that. It is today, the 22nd of Jan, but I feel like I'm still going into the goal setting because I'm being intentionally slow with it. If you think you could be into that, to stick around. Before I get into how I did it, I just want to share with you guys the why behind it. Now, I don't need to remind you how weird the past 3 years have been. It has felt for me like each year was just morphing into the next year. And, I felt so out of control. I felt like I didn't necessarily deal with the pandemic as I would have loved to. Like I didn't sit back and sort of reflect on how that made me feel. It just felt like the years are morphing into each other. It just felt like I didn't really sit down and reflect and just sort of reconcile what had happened because of the pandemic and where I was as a person. And so going into 2023, I decided to slow it all the way down, and I decided I was going to be intentional about entering into the new year. And I believe I've somewhat achieved it. I think, December and Jan was a bit slow for me, and I'm going to share with you guys how I did that. But yeah, if you feel out of control, I think it's worth noticing and recognizing that it isn't your fault. We've just lived through unprecedented times, and we've sort of expected ourselves to continue being without necessarily dealing with all of those underlying feelings and thoughts that may have come by because of the pandemic. Now, with that out of the way, I want to share with you guys my 4 steps for entering or easing into the new year quite slowly and intentionally. The first thing is unplugging, taking a moment to pause and disengaging from all of the externalities. Guys, we're so connected as people. We're connected to people on social media. We're connected to people that we'll probably never even meet, and we've taken in their way of living, and we've taken in their goals for the most part. So I have found that disengaging, especially on social media, and watching less of TV, and even certain music that I find to be too much for me, just letting go of all of that feels like one long breath. And that is so helpful because then it sort of centers me, and I get to listen more from what is coming from within instead of all of the other externalities that I'm hearing or that are sort of pushed onto me. I started this process around December, so I took leave towards the end of December, and I took that time off to just not stress about work. Once I have unplugged, the second thing that I do is reflect. I know we hear a lot about reflecting around this time of the year, and for the most part we're like, well, what does it even mean? I see reflecting as honoring and listening to myself. In a world where, again, like I mentioned, we're so connected to the outside world, we're so plugged into the outside world, I have found that once I have disengaged, once I have unplugged, I then start to listen to myself. I then start to go back and just see what my body thinks about certain things, right? I bring back experiences and circumstances to the surface, and I really just observe how it makes my body feel. It really is an opportunity to pay attention to yourself and honor yourself in that way. There's a lot of aspects in different areas of your life that you can cover when reflecting. Across all of those different aspects, what I want to try come up with is what I'm most proud of, what I think I could have done better, as well as what is sort of unfinished business that I still need to take care of in 2022 or in the year that has passed. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. This year, it felt like the list of things that I could have done better was just way longer. And I try to make the reflection process judgment-free. So I just observe how I feel. I just observe what I think about certain things without being like, okay, then you're a terrible human this year. No, nothing like that. I list them as they come up. And I did notice that I was picking up a lot more on the things that I wasn't very proud of versus the things that I was proud of. But also what I noticed that the quality of the things that I was most proud of was just much better, in my opinion, even though the list was not as long, because it had to do with family. It had to do with learning about myself. It had to do with finding myself and just centering myself and going back to God. And I think that is powerful and it's a lot more meaningful to me. Just one more thing to add on reflections. If you can, do it in nature. I have found that nature just has the capability of putting things into scale for us, putting things into the right proportion for us. And going into nature doesn't need to be an expensive trip. I have started going out into my garden and just looking at the skies, looking into the expansive blue skies. Never like it sounds small. It sounds small. Going to the park and looking at trees, just moving to the rhythm of the wind. Guys, something as small as that, it'll really put into perspective the beauty and expansiveness of the world that we're living in and our role in it. And then you realize that it's quite silly to be stressing about, some of the things that we stress about. So now that you have unplugged and you have reflected outside of the influences of this busy world, then you visualize. And I love for my vision making process, goal setting process to be outside of influences as well. I sit with things that I want to achieve. I sit with things that I would love to do, things that I would love to be. And I really take my time with this step. Now, I know vision boarding and goal setting and New Year's resolutions is nothing new, but the thing that I want to introduce to you is taking your time with it. It is the 22nd of Jan and I'm still sort of planning my year and visualizing. And it's because I'm not in a rush. I am not in a hurry with it. What I do is I set out my intentions for the year. I set out the things that I would like to see, my visions, and then I sit and wait to hear back. This is a step that I think is really, really important. Sitting with your dreams, sitting with your goals, sitting with your resolutions, and waiting to hear back from God, waiting to hear what His plans, what His visions, what His goals for your life this year is. And I know many of you could be asking, well, how do I do that listening process? How can I hear whether something that I want to achieve is something that I'm just dreaming of and is not aligned to what God's plan and purpose for my life is? So I would say that taking your time with it is the first step. The other step that I really love is asking why. Allowing yourself to go deeper into why you want certain things for your life. Or you want a new car. Why? You want to go to the gym 3 times a week. Why? You want to move from this house, to another house. Why do you want to do all of those things? Why is it important for you? You want to start a YouTube channel. Why? Whatever it is, allowing yourself to get deeper into the why you want to achieve certain things will do a good job of rooting things that are very superficial, and maybe you want them because the next person wants them as well. You want them because it's a trendy thing to have right now. You want to start a YouTube channel because everybody has a YouTube channel. You want a new kitchen because everybody is renovating their kitchen. But if you go, well, why? Why is this important for me? And don't get me wrong, sometimes there's nothing wrong with wanting things because you want them. But I have found there's just so much power in getting deeper and just getting into, well, why is this important for me? How is this aligned to who I am as a person, who I want to be and where I am going? How is this part of my path and my life and God's plan for me? Ask yourself why. And observe that answer. If there's not a clearer why, if there's not a deeper why, then ask yourself if this is something that you want to put your energy chasing. I have honestly looked at my vision board, and I did a vision board for the first time this year. Before then, I had never done it, but I felt really called to do a vision board this year. So there's not a lot of things there, but there's things that are helping me with aligning my intentions. And when I ask why, I can understand why those things are important for me and where they fit in my life. And that is very important. There is a lot of great content out there about goal setting and vision boarding, so I'm not going to bore with you that. But if there's one thing I can ask of you, is really that why question. Ask yourself why. Okay, now, after you have dreamt, guys, that's not where it ends. You don't dream, you don't have a beautiful vision board and then be like, well, I'm done. No, that is just the first step. A vision without clear action steps on how we're actually going to make it a reality is a dream. It is not a goal at all. It is just something that is a wish list, basically. So I need us to take that vision a step further and create a clear plan, an actionable plan. Be like, okay, cool. If I want to learn new skills this year, this is what I want to do. If I want that promotion and it needs me to learn new skills, this is how I'm going to bridge the gap between where I am and where I want to be. I love planning per quarter. So when I look at a year plan, I sometimes feel like it isn't urgent enough. And so what I like to do is plan per quarter. You can do it however you want to do it. Also, I found that some of my goals are dependent on one thing needing to happen first, and that's why I had to try to prioritize and put them in that sort of action plan per quarter. So take the time out and plan, and so you know how you can execute, and so you can hold yourself accountable. Again, lastly, guys, number 5, I know we had 4 steps, but number 5 is to have fun. Now, whilst we're planning for tomorrow and, we're showing up for our future selves, we are still alive today, and we need to have a good time and be present today. Don't be so caught up about a life that is coming in a year or however long that you forget to enjoy and be thankful for the life that you have now. So have fun, be gracious to yourself, cut yourself some slack. Guys, the fact that we are still alive and are breathing is good enough. So cut yourself some slack, have fun, enjoy the life that you've been blessed with today. I recently discovered Bobby Nsenga, and shame on you guys for not plugging me, but I'm not going to gatekeep good things. I'm going to share with you guys. I've just found him. He curates this nice, beautiful R&B playlists. So one of the playlists that I recently just found was Falling in Love with Life Again, Part 2. And the first song that comes up is Makhubele's Closer to My Dreams. We know the song. Well, I know the song and I've loved it for a long time, but just hearing it at a time where I needed to hear it, and the lyrics go, sometimes it feels like I'll never go past here. Sometimes it feels like I'm stuck forever, but I am going higher, closer to my dreams. So that's it, bestie. 2023, leave all your fears to burn and die. Push forward and move closer to your dreams. I love you all so much. All the best for the new year, and I will see you next time. Bye.